Well, good morning. I'm going to wait for a few people to get into chat and then we'll get started here. I think we're going to start with the Riley Strain case. Riley Strain, let me go ahead and put this up. Give me just a second. I just needed to do that because then it'll help me. Why is it not? Oh, there we go. I don't know why it does this to me every morning. It drives me nuts, but that's okay. So Riley Strain, you guys remember Riley Strain. Riley Strain, he was the boy that disappeared from Nashville. He went to Luke's 32 with his fraternity. He was a university student from Missouri. And I don't know how many people are aware, but the autopsy came back. And the autopsy for Riley Strain was very odd, and it's causing the parents to want a second autopsy done. And they're going to be having that autopsy done in Missouri. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you, beautiful people. Who all do we have in here? We have Digital Snapdragon, Ophelia, Allie. It's nice to see you guys this beautiful morning. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to all of you. So what happened here is he had no water in his lungs. And it's making everybody just kind of start back to speculation station. You guys all know that I felt very uncomfortable with this case because of how long it took them to find him. And so we were coming up on the 14th day, and a worker that was working out there on the water, I think with some of the barges or whatever, one of the businesses right there on the river. And while he was out there, he noticed something in the water, and they had to move a log. A log was kind of helping pin him down. And another phenomenon about this case was he was missing his boots, he was missing his pants, and he was missing his wallet. And so his family is just, they said it could have been a dry drowning. Yeah, Bree, that's exactly it. It could have been dry drowning. So for people that don't understand what dry drowning is, in many cases, when we go underwater, we have a habit of breathing water in. In some people, their throat goes through a spasm and it shuts. And that shutting does the same thing. You're drowning, you're just not getting the water in your lungs. So they're thinking that. So that could explain why he has no water in his lungs. However, and there's another way to explain it as well. He could have been, passed away before he went into the water. We all watched him take a head dive. And just because he didn't bump his head or break his skin or start bleeding doesn't mean he didn't do some damage when he hit that pavement. I mean, we watched him go down. He went down pretty hard. So there is that possibility because he was out there roaming around for some time. And if anybody knows anything about head trauma, brain injuries, and stuff like that, the swelling of your brain takes time. So even though you sustain a brain injury, you may not realize that brain injury for a half an hour, 45 minutes as your brain is swelling. And then at that point, you have some major problems. So I don't know if that is what could have happened. And then, of course, there is the thought that he could have seriously met with foul play. Law enforcement is absolutely stating there is no foul play. There's no signs of foul play. And I trust, I have to trust their judgment. They do this stuff a lot more than we do this stuff, right? They're right in there. They have to see the evidence. They see these, they see the stuff we can't, right? Damage from brain injury should have shown up in an autopsy. Exactly. So, but we don't have the full autopsy. We're only hearing bits and pieces of it. So it's just a little concerning, but here's the kicker. Even if we can explain why he doesn't have water in his lungs and why his clothes are missing, they could have naturally drifted off of him. It is possible, okay? We don't know what happened. It is a plausible possibility. But here's the kicker with this, okay? How did the debit card wind up where it is? Because the reason why we thought the debit card was where it was because we thought he took his shirt off to throw up, because that's the reports we were all getting. But he was found with the one thing that we thought wasn't with him, and that was his shirt. So if he had his shirt on, how do we explain the debit card? That's the thing I don't know. Front pocket? But yeah, but if he's 8 miles down the river, how did it get where it was? But everybody's assuming it was in his pocket, and everybody's assuming he threw up. Because somebody said he threw up on his shirt, he took his shirt off. So if he never took his shirt off and never stuck it on the rail, what makes us believe that the first part of that story is true, if the rest of the story isn't true? You see what I'm saying? Like, now we're getting into where we're splitting hairs on this, because now there's no evidence that he threw up. Maybe he tripped and didn't see it. Yeah. You know what? And I keep wondering, because jeans do float, or should. I don't know. I guess we're going to have to test the theory out, right? But if jeans floated, would it be possible that maybe the jeans, because he was gone for 14 days, and nobody would have known. I mean, because there was so much trash littered up and down that coast. You guys all saw that, right? So I'm wondering if maybe his pants did float, and maybe his pants did dry, and maybe they were crystal clean, and somebody came across and found his pants, and they were dry and decided to put them on. I mean, they're homeless, and they're probably in dirty clothes, so, you know, maybe they fit. Maybe they reached in the pocket and found the wallet, went through the wallet and said, oh, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need this. But then again, we didn't find his ID. The only thing we found was the debit card. I don't know. I don't know if the tripping would work either. I don't know. I feel like the jeans or even the shirt he was wearing would be floating. Yeah, Caitlin, that's what I was thinking too. You know, I don't know. I don't know. He went where they said. He went in where they said they did. The river moves, you know. Yeah, no, I agree with that. His old lady, I agree with that 100%. But in everything like that, and even we can explain, but I'm still curious about the card. Like, everything's explained away logically, and no foul play involved. Like, down to the boots, because, you know, the water could have just shimmied everything down, and, you know, and not only that, but I'm sure he, you know, he bloated a little bit. It might have tore something or made them come off easier. I don't know, you know. I just don't know, but we can really explain everything, like, with no foul play whatsoever, from the boots to the jeans to the wallet, because the wallet's in the jeans, and if the jeans aren't on him, that would explain why the wallet's not on him. I don't want to speculate over the phone, because I don't know. They didn't say anything about the phone. Did they find the boots or the pants? Oops, I almost blocked somebody by accident. Sorry. Did they find the boots or the pants? I heard homeless had them. No, Bree, that's exactly the opposite. Nobody knows where they are. The only thing we heard the homeless person had was a shirt, and that was the one thing that was found on Riley. So, you know, I guess that story probably isn't accurate. Or maybe somebody's memory is jogged. Because you got to remember, some of these people are out there, they don't sleep for days. Like, some of these people may have been recalling something that happened, you know, several days prior to as well. No one really knows what really happened exactly, Debbie. He described the shirt and said he believed it's Riley's. Yeah, my girl, but Riley was found with the shirt on. When they recovered Riley, he had that shirt that everybody kept saying was on a homeless man. It was on Riley's body. They found him with it on. That was the one thing he had on. So I don't know. It's definitely weird. It's definitely weird. Somebody out there knows something. Exactly. We are talking about the 911 call. Oh, I got in the middle of the conversation. Gotcha. We were there when they found, were you there when they found Audrey? Yes, I was actually on grounds when I didn't get any footage of it because it was under a bridge and they wouldn't let anybody down there. But yeah, we were there when all of this was happening. It was bad. Actually, I got footage because we were driving by as they were. I've got footage of the off. You couldn't see what they were looking at, but when we were driving by, I was filming. and I could see them looking like there was like 3 or 4 people down there and standing over something looking, and I'm like, they're looking at something pretty big. I didn't think anything about it. You can't see anything on the footage what they were looking at because it was from such a far distance away. But you can see, like, I got great footage of them, like 3 or 4 people looking down at something large, but I had no idea. I really didn't even, I didn't think it was Audrey, but we learned that that was exactly what they were looking at. Is the one video with the carry the person true? Is the one video with a carrying the person true? I don't know, Diesel. There were some things, you got to go back. If you guys want to find more information about this, News Nation spoke to the family spokesperson, that Dingman guy. Really nice guy. And he's, they're getting a second, thank you, Lisa. They're getting a second autopsy done. What was the question? Hold on here. There was something here that I was going to answer. And it was about Dingman. But he's the one that said that they're doing the 2 autopsies, that there's some weird phenomenons with the autopsy they have now. Now we have to accept whatever the Missouri medical examiner does, but they're doing additional testing too. So I don't know what type of additional testing they're going to do. What was the question? Oh, carrying the person. But he did make mention that they did find, remember that homeless person that stated he heard Riley fall or saw Riley fall in the bushes, and somebody was standing over him and hollered back, he's drunk, he's okay. Well, they did find that guy. And they're also saying he was a little cryptic. Dingman, was a little cryptic because it sounded like there might have been another person after him that nobody's talked to yet. So I'm still curious. It still sounds like there's something going on behind the scenes, at least with the family being uneasy with this whole no foul play thing. They're just wanting to dot their I's and cross their T's. So that's kind of where we are. This case is still a mystery, guys. We still don't know what happened to this young boy that went to have fun with his fraternity. Second one is already done. Okay, Flora said the second one is already done. No. The second one, if you're talking about Riley Strain, according to Dingman last night, you have to go back. Sometimes I misunderstand some things, so you really do want to go listen to it yourself. But it was on the News Nation. Brian Enton did it. I'm pretty confident it was Brian Enton. And they were talking about doing the second autopsy in Missouri, because apparently he's going to be put to rest, I believe, Saturday. So they're getting it done, which means it probably would be done. And the second autopsy shouldn't take near as long as the first one, because there's a lot of stuff already, that was already done. And now all they really have to do is reweigh, look over the report and look at what's there. So it does. The second one's already done. I believe the second one would already be done, but I don't think, no, his funeral's Friday. Okay, perfect. So his funeral's on Friday, and so they would already have that completely done. Absolutely. They definitely didn't do their job that night. I don't think they did. I think they dropped. Well, it's kind of hard, because this is what people don't understand is in adult missing person cases, it's much more difficult. It's not like a child where, the child's under the direction of the parent. If the child's not with the parent, it's very easy to determine the child is missing. When it comes to adults, we have a lot more rights. We don't have to tell people where we are. We don't have to answer to anyone. If we choose to walk away, which a lot of people were like, who would choose to walk away? There are many people every single day that choose to walk out the door and never return again for a variety of reasons, from mental health to abuse and what say you. And, law enforcement has no authority to tell anybody anything. And, you get into a piece where, they want to make sure you're safe, but you have a right to privacy, and it's your constitutional right to privacy. So, and your constitutional right supersedes somebody knowing where you're at. So they have a lot of things, and that's why I tell people all the time, if you have an adult missing person, sometimes you just need to sit your butt in the police station until they take you seriously, because you know the person better than anybody, and you know when something is not right. Law enforcement doesn't know these people. So sometimes you just have to sit there and refuse to leave politely until somebody takes your case seriously. Friday is the service. Okay. All right, so there's your update. No water in the lungs, some clothing is missing, and we still can't determine how his debit card ended up where it did on the shoreline. We just can't. So that's really all I have for that. Madeline Soto is the 13-year-old girl from Kissimmee, Florida. This is the girl where her stepfather, Stefan Stearns, is behind, or not stepfather, her mom's boyfriend, Stefan Stearns, is behind bars and has been there since 2 days before they found her due to some images and videos of her on the phone. Well, one of the things we didn't realize is that Osceola School District notification goes out in the evening. So literally, Jen Soto is there with law enforcement trying to deal with her missing person daughter, the missing person, her daughter, and she's getting a notification from the school that her daughter didn't attend school as she's dealing with law enforcement. At that point, it was entirely too late. So they've changed this to do a mid-morning call to families. So that means if your child doesn't attend school, you're not going to be waiting until 6 o'clock at night to receive a call. A call will be coming in much earlier, so parents have time to act. This is the new one. So this is the other Soto case. You guys remember this. This right here was Savannah Soto, her boyfriend, Matthew Guerra. She was very, very heavily pregnant. She was 19 years old. She was just about to give birth to her baby, and her family went to the birthing center, and she was nowhere to be found. It was right before Christmas, and it was just really, really a sad case. Both Matthew Guerra as well as Savannah Soto were lifeless inside the car, both with a gunshot wound to the head region, and the baby that was in her lost his life as well. Well, the person that unalived them was Christopher Preciado. Well, his mother and his father helped him move and dispose of them in an apartment. So all three of them, Chris Preciado, the one that actually did the doing, his mom and his dad are behind bars. Well, Christopher Preciado was just indicted by the grand jury in this case. We've been waiting for this for some time. People want to know, is baby Fabian going to be one of the charges? And that answer is yes, he is. They indicted Christopher Preciado even with the unborn baby Fabian. So that's some good news. This is Christopher Preciado. If you guys remember this entire case, this was just a really sad case. We had him and his father on there, and it was just unimaginable and unthinkable that anybody could do this to a pregnant young teen. And more importantly, the parents actually helped clean up. It was just unconscionable. And of course, we went through the Riley Strain case and everything. People are still on edge. Some people, I think, still believe in the back of their mind there's this possibility of foul play. At least I know that is for me. So if you're feeling like that, don't feel bad. I feel the same way. Like I'm accepting of it was an accident, but this case just never sat right with me. And this is just another level of not sitting right with me, with him not having water in his lungs. The clothes are not bothersome for me too much, but that water in his lungs does bother me. But they're saying there's a plausible explanation for that. So now we're going to get over to Sebastian Rogers. He's the 15-year-old autistic boy that wasn't getting a whole lot of attention. And then his case got a massive amount of attention because people were just over at the Riley Strain case, which garnered attention from around the country because it was associated with two legendary country singers, because Riley Strain was in Friends in Low Places, which is owned by Garth Brooks, and then he went over to Luke's 32, which is owned by Luke Bryan. And it was just a case that really rose to the top because people were worried, did something happen to him? Was he met with violence? And so there was a lot of people over there at the Riley Strain case, and Sebastian Rogers wasn't getting any real attention. And so a lot of the people that were at the Riley Strain case naturally migrated over to Sebastian Rogers because it was in such close proximity, which just erupted with some interest in this 15-year-old autistic boy's case. Well, one of those things that came in was the United Cajun Navy, and there was the people that brought them in. What had really originally happened, it was people like me going to social media asking them to please, move some resources because we thought that they were a result of everything that was going on out there in Riley Strain. Well, now we're learning that's not true. There were many of the volunteers that came up and said that this flag guy that's the spokesperson for United Cajun Navy took credit for their work, that they're not associated with the United Cajun Navy, and he has no affiliation nor even really spoke to any of the volunteers that he was saying was their volunteers. So there's all this controversy surrounding the United Cajun Navy. And then they move over to the Sebastian Rogers case, and the father obviously welcomes any and all help possible to find his son. He's exhausted. He just wants help finding his son. And anybody and everybody can absolutely understand a man desperate to find answers in for his son, and he's willing to do just about anything to get those, and he's willing to take any help that he can get. So, God bless him for that. I have nothing to say negative, obviously, about Seth Rogers, because I want him to find his son. I want him to have the answers that he wants by any stretch of the imagination. However, we as social media creators really did work to get a lot of people out there just to have them ran off and treated like crap by this organization. And so now Seth is in a very, very bad spot because he's out there wanting help from people with this organization that nobody wants to work with anymore. And he's just begging for everybody to put down he doesn't want the drama in his son's case. And in all fairness, a father shouldn't have to deal with any of this. He's missing his kid. The focus really should be on Sebastian Rogers. But you're asking people to work with people that were calling the cops on them. And people out there were very upset because they're there to work, not to be interviewed by media, not to, raise donations and stuff like that. They want to hand out flyers. They want to be out in the woods searching. They want to search. They want to work. And this organization's not even starting until 10:30 in the morning, that's pretty late for a search. Like, I've always been taught you get up early to start a search so you have the full day, you take your break so you can relax and get your second wind and do the afternoon. But, to each their own. I'm not running, that's their gig and stuff like that. But it's really sad that, Sebastian Rogers, the controversy is bringing up stuff, but it's not good stuff, and Seth doesn't need this drama. But I can promise you, I'm not going to be working with the United Cajun Navy. I'm not going to go to their volunteer tent. I'm not going to have anything to do with them. I've watched their behavior, and I've got it on good accord. They were saying that they brought all these volunteers that they did not bring in. So they're lying to people. I can't be associated with that. And if anybody wants to associate themselves with this organization, by all means, please go out there and help. Seth needs help no matter what. You don't have to go check in with this organization to put your feet on the ground and search. So it doesn't really matter. I just want people out there searching for this boy because he needs to be brought home. He really does. And I really don't want the drama out there. I'm just personally saying I can't work with this organization. I don't want it to be associated with it. I don't want to have any photos with it. Like, I have my own reputation to uphold over here, and I can't be associated with an organization that steals another organization's story and runs off people that came in, that spent their money to come in to help search, and they've been ran off and got the cops called on them. And I can't understand, where did all this pissing contest come from? And this is what's going on out there. People taking selfies, not really doing anything. If you go and look at this particular thing, everybody's being interviewed by media. My question is if you're getting interviewed by media, who is really out there searching? And then we find out that they don't start until after 10:30. And they stop around 3. It's like they're not even giving this 100%. They're barely doing what's necessary. They're doing whatever's getting them enough attention to get them a click and a view and a name in a newspaper. And I'm sorry. And the bad part is Seth is hook, line, and sinker in this organization. And it's so sad because I don't see, I don't know. It's a big no for me. And I'm pretty sure for the rest of the people like me, it's a big no for them too. And I don't want anybody to stop searching for Seth or Sebastian. So we're kind of in a pickle here. What do you do? Have they gone yet? Hold on here. Let me read some. Good morning. Good morning, guys. Yes, the Sebastian, Seth did go on Nancy Grace. I feel so bad for Seth. Seth breaks my heart. You feel his pain. He's crying. He's emotional. He just wants answers to his boy. He wants to know what happened to his boy. And while we have no real information, and we can all have our opinions about Chris Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot, there's nothing saying that they did anything either. I mean, I just want to make sure that it's clear. That's all what we feel, because their behavior is odd. But just because their behavior is odd, that's not enough for guilt. If you really want to think about it. So I don't know. It's been reported that's not the real Cajun Navy. Please make sure you do your research before you do. Right, Yvette, they're a branch of the Cajun Navy. My understanding is that this particular branch of the Cajun Navy is just really a horrible branch. They've been sued several times. They haven't, something about the proceeds. I'm not getting all up in their crawl. I don't want to ruin this organization. I just don't want anything to do with them. And I don't think that they have the necessary, it seems very disorganized and dysfunctional. It doesn't seem professional is all I'm trying to, bring up. I don't know. I'm not out there. I'm not physically out there. I'm just saying that there are several people from both of these stories from Riley Strain. Like the people are coming forward from Riley Strain saying that the United Cajun Navy hijacked their work and didn't give them credit for it. Like they weren't there with the Cajun Navy. They were there with their own channels. They were there on their own time. They coordinated their own people to be on their own boats and stuff like that, that they were going out there and all this other stuff. And Cajun Navy is saying that those are their guys, and it wasn't their guys at all. They literally lied. So my question is, why are they having to lie about this stuff? I can't work with an organization I don't know who they are. I'm not putting, I am adamant that when we work with people, we promote people, we give businesses and organizations a plug. They have to be legitimate plugs. They have to be legitimate. I'm not saying this organization isn't legitimate. I'm saying they're lying about everything, even their history. That makes me not want to work with them. It's sad. They're not the real Cajun Navy, and that's the end of the day. They literally went on Nancy Grace and stole Cajun Navy 2016 story and passed it off as their own. And up until this case, nobody knew that there were multiple branches of this Cajun Navy. And Cajun Navy 2016 is the original Cajun Navy. This United Cajun Navy, even though they went on Nancy Grace and said they were formed during Katrina, that was an absolute lie again. This United Cajun Navy was not formed until 2018. They lied again. And you know why people are hesitant to volunteer with them? The last time, it was like Sea Corps or something like that. They were out there. They ended up trying to put protective orders on their volunteers. So, and they had this whole court thing that went on for years because of how they treated their volunteers that were trying to expose their business practices way back in 2018 when they started. And they were met with restraining orders, protective orders. These were volunteers, again, volunteers. And so we hear that, and then other volunteers are going out here to Sebastian Rogers' case, and when they show up to volunteer, they're met with law enforcement after reading about how they put protective orders on these 8 other volunteers back in 2000. It makes people feel uncomfortable. I'm not going out there to get arrested. I'm not going out there to get a protective order. I just want to search for a boy. Why gatekeep? Exactly. Oh, Nicolina. Wow. I didn't know you were on TikTok. That's funny. It's nice to see you. Okay, no one is telling you to work with them. Right. No, and I'm not going to. I'm not working. If they had a better reputation, I might be able to look past some things, because to be honest with you, I'm not there. They're not doing it to me. But they're doing it to people. And this one lady went there, she went there from, I want to say a couple states over, and to hand out flyers and stuff like that. And she felt like she just wasted her time because she went out there and nobody was doing anything. So she just grabbed a stack of flyers and started handing them out. It's really dysfunctional. I'm sorry. That's just really dysfunctional. The real dad did it. I don't think the real dad did anything. I think that real dad is just broken, to be honest with you. But, we don't know. We can all have our opinions. None of us were there. But Betty, they even called the police on Dolly. Oh, wow. Oh, hey, Jules. It's nice to see you. I didn't know they called the police on... Actually, I think I did hear that. I think I did say that. There's been so much stuff going on. I've been reading this stuff, and I'm just kind of floored about it. The parents are guilty. I think the parents are showing definitely unusual red flags with their behavior, mom leaving. I think mom really did herself a disservice. I think she's trying to protect Chris. And the only reason I say that is because Chris had all these scratches on him. It's pretty odd to have a boy missing and all these scratches up and down your arm. It just doesn't look good. So, I think in her haste to protect Christopher, I think she might have backed herself in a corner, because now she's the only person that was alone with him. Now people are criticizing, literally, and analyzing everything. And I believe they, I could be wrong, but I believe people are even saying they never saw Sebastian that evening, that she actually pulled her vehicle inside the garage and shut the garage before anybody got out, allegedly. I don't know how true that is. It's not a corgi. He said that his corgi did this. They're not corgis. They're called Morkies. They're mini Yorkies. Let me see if I can find a photo of what the dogs look like. Give me just a second. I've got a photo of them. It's going to be hard for me to show you, but I will make it. I'm getting close to it. Give me just a second. All right, we're getting close. We're getting close. Come on, come on. Lordy, lordy. Hold on, let me open my... I know I have it. I've posted it up here several times. There it is. So these dogs right here, these are the Morkies. They're Morkies, and I'm assuming that means mini Yorkies, because she calls them a Morkie, not Corgis, Morkie, because they're Yorkies. They're mini Yorkies, and these are the. Let me put this on a reel. Hold on, maybe I can do it this way. And look at these scratches on his arm. I mean, these are pretty. That doesn't look like those little dog scratches. Look how wide apart those are. And there's bruising around them. Some people believe that it's bite marks, So I really don't know. Let me get a darker background. I can't hardly see the chat. Just bear with me. There we go. That's a darker. Let me see here. Mom did something horrible and Dad cleaned it up. That almost sounds like Summer Wells. That's almost how I believe what happened with Summer Wells. I don't know much about this mother, but and I don't really like to listen to gossip and stuff, because there's a lot of gossip about these cases, right? And just because it's gossip doesn't make it true. And, so there's a lot of people talking about the mom drinks an awful lot. I keep wondering, would she? And the answer is yes. People, could she? Yeah. Her husband's, she'd be a prime candidate for having a drinking problem, right? She's got an autistic child. Her husband's away for weeks on end, leaving her home alone to deal with, some of the things that come with, raising a teenage boy. A teenage boy with disabilities. So, she really would. She has a lot of the key ingredients for somebody that would overindulge in something. But that doesn't necessarily mean that she does. She's going to end up turning on him to get a deal. Maybe. But see, he has the scratches on him. And that's the problem I'm having. Because if we applied that, the mom was home alone, the mom, and something happened while the mom was there, then I would have expected mom having the scratches and bruises on her arm, not Chris. But Chris is the one with the scratches and bruises. Excuse me. He also, Nancy Grace specifically asked them if forensics were used in the house, and they tried to allude that forensics were used in their home, and we're learning that there were no forensics used in that home at all. They've searched the home. They've searched the home multiple times, but it sounds like it was a surface search. It wasn't a forensic inspection. So we still don't know if anything could have happened in the house. The house was in order. The house was clean. But, even blood splatter evidence, that is microscopic. And sometimes you can't see any of that until you do forensics. So even though the Proudfoots have alleged or eluded that there was forensics used, I never seen them, because this is what they do. This is one of the key ways that I always can tell if somebody is getting luminoled. They tape up the windows. If you guys are ever at a scene and you start seeing black plastic bags come out, and you start seeing the windows being covered up with these dark black plastic bags, they're doing forensics, because they need that room to be ultra, ultra, ultra dark when they apply that chemical for the luminescent purpose of it. Because a lot of people believe that it just lights up like a Christmas tree. And while that's true in many cases when there's a large amount of blood present, it's not that way. Oh, thank you. It's not necessarily that way when there's little bits of evidence that just very lightly that illuminates. So you need that really, really dark room so you can find every bit of spatter or any other type of evidence that might have been placed on shoes, fingerprints, stuff like that. She helped him do something to him, a thin look at him. There's something, I don't know. Both of them, when that first interview, I don't know what it was. It was that first interview. It was almost like spooky for me, that very first interview where he was wearing that green shirt where he had the scratches on his arm. It was just the way they talked that made me believe that they know he's not, like they were trying to convince themselves that something good was going to come of this. And that's what bothered me, because they're like, he's going to have more friends than he knows what to do with. And I found that statement odd, while most people didn't, but I personally did. I found that statement odd because I found that statement not reassuring for him. It was almost reassuring for them. Like he's going to be, he's going to have the most friends he's ever had. Like they're convincing themselves of this stuff. And that's when I heard that, that's when I felt, I don't know, odd. That was a red flag for sure. Yeah. They need to check the house and the vehicles. Exactly. And now they took off in the RV. The RV was what Chris is saying that he, and listen, Chris said, and I don't know, I get a little more skeptical as the time goes on, because Chris said that he offered to take a polygraph test, and law enforcement didn't want him taking a polygraph test, even though he offered. And Seth basically said the exact same thing, that law enforcement didn't want I guess because of where he was. So it almost implies that Chris truly was in Memphis when all of this happened. So I don't know. I just would like law enforcement just to give us a heads up. But, if they give us a heads up on whether they think the parents are responsible or not, then, that's going directly to the integrity of the investigation. And I just don't see them doing that. I really don't. So they went and bought a motorcycle and went on a ride and took off. Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. That's what I don't trust about them. But, that is, again, behavior, red flag behavior, but no evidence, no corroborating evidence that they did anything to this boy or had any hand in his disappearance. It's suspicious, but it's not, it didn't seal the fate. There's nothing here. They need evidence. And right now, that's what they're lacking, linking evidence to them. So, we can feel however we want to feel about the parents, and we can have the suspicion, lingering feeling in our gut about Chris and Katie. But if there's nothing to support those gut feelings, and like I said last night, what bothering me the most about this particular case, the Sebastian Rogers case, is the fact we work in Tennessee a lot. And we've got several active and open cases, and none of them are being closed. And the key reason why they're not being closed is because none of them have bodies. And so if we can't find Sebastian, you bet your butt this is going to be no different than a Summer Wells case. And that terrifies me. That terrifies me. I know it's Soul Shine. It's a problem. I tell you what, it's a problem even for me. I think when I was talking about Riley last night, somebody was in the chat talking about a reward, and I couldn't remember if Riley Strain had a reward or not. I thought it was a significant amount of reward, but I guess not. Apparently, there was no reward offered, according to who was in my chat. I couldn't remember. I'm not going back to look it up. It doesn't mean it doesn't bother. It's not something that I'm worried about one way or another. But you're right. We get so many cases that. Some of the facts kind of run together. That's why I have to always have notes, and I got notes on my computer. I got notes written down. I try as hard as I can to remember this stuff, but there's a lot, and it's sad that there's a lot. There's no reward, but the parents got over $1 million in Eagle Fund. Yeah, I know. But no, there is a reward. There's a small reward for Sebastian Rogers, but I even complained about that because we see the lofty lifestyle his mom and stepdad live. I mean, with all their house, their cars, and all their toys, you've got well over $1 million worth of stuff there. Well over $1 million. And they've got like a piddly $3,500 reward. Which, I mean, rewards are rewards. I shouldn't, don't get me wrong. Any reward's better than no reward at all, right? But it seems disheartening because of their vast wealth that is obviously apparent and such a small, it just appears that they're not really trying to get information because everybody knows the larger the reward fund, the more tips that come in. So, oh, she meant the GoFundMe. Oh, I don't know about the GoFundMe. I think Seth has a GoFundMe. The only one that I'm aware of is the one that Seth has, and they're expanding that out just a little bit more. He's been taking a significant time off work for his son, and, he still has bills to pay. Like the bill collector doesn't care whether you're missing a kid or not. Neither does the government, right? Sad. Ever since the stepdad said he pours cement, I know that was the craziest statement I had ever heard in my life. Like but some people just don't know how to talk publicly. And not only that, but in all fairness, we overanalyze every single statement, right? So, I mean, somebody could be talking about a mohawk, right? Like literally a mohawk, and by the time we're done analyzing what they said, we've got an eagle flying in the sky, No offense, but I mean, in all reality, this is social media, right? That is kind of what we do. Card says the parents are innocent. I hope they are. I never want to think of a child being harmed by their parent, but we are true crime, right? And it's as unfortunate as it is, in a lot of these cases, it ends up being the parents or somebody very close to that child. I mean, that's just, it's as unfortunate as it is, there is a lot of cases like that. I mean, to be honest with you, when it comes to these kids, we have very little stranger danger. Think about it. Think about the last few cases we've covered of children. Stranger danger wasn't even, it's not even a consideration. So even with your own knowledge of that, we think, I don't know. It's just, this is true crime, and in most of these cases, we know that it's somebody that was close to that kid. I mean, statistically, and they're removing every other person besides the family. I mean, the family's doing that themselves. They've removed all threats. They basically said he doesn't have friends. He's not associated with social media. He's monitored very closely. He's got a lot of different parental protections on his phone. He does go on YouTube, but he just watches videos. He doesn't communicate with people. So, is there any ring cameras? Yeah, there's some cameras in the neighborhood, which is really odd but we don't know what law enforcement has. They're not really telling us much of anything. So they're wanting the public's help to search, but we're flying in the dark because we don't really even know what areas to search. I've looked up and down the entire map of the area. I looked up and down, obviously we have to look at the step-parents, the stepfather, the mom, as well as the father. To be honest with you, we can't just dismiss one, right? I mean, we got to look at all of them. It's only fair, and it gives us a good lay of the land. Now, I don't believe Seth has anything to do with this. I want to be very, very clear. But law enforcement hasn't told us that he was where he said he was. So in all fairness, I mean, if we're going to be fair about the whole entire situation, we're looking at everybody. There's nobody that's not being looked at. There's 3 key players in this story, in my opinion. Because of the information we have, we've been told that he doesn't have friends. We've been told he's not on the internet. So that eliminates those threats. And so now we just have the people that knew him best. So in my opinion, that would be mom, dad, and stepdad. So it's almost like a whodunit between them. But could it be something else? Listen, guys, I don't know. People are bringing up this other relationship that Katie Proudfoot had with somebody in the community. I don't necessarily believe it. I think that, an abused woman is an abused woman. She would be terrified to even look in the direction of another man. But, Chris was gone for weeks on end. Is it possible? I don't know. But if it is possible, if it did happen, could that other guy be the one that harmed Sebastian? If we looked at that theory, okay, yeah, maybe. But I don't believe Chris got those scratches from the Morgies. The Morgies. I mean, these hands on these dogs are this big. His scratches are wider than that. Oh, thank you, CJ. Y'all can't be planning evidence for... Michelle, you know what? I would say do better research, because everybody keeps talking about this water bottle. You need to call the FBI and do your own record request. You'll find out that you are spreading misinformation. For what? For what? We don't like misinformation, and we don't like people with petty bullshit personality problems. If you don't like my channel, get the fuck off. It's pretty simple. And that's how I talk to people. So if you want to come in here and come at me in a nice way, I'm happy to. Like over on my YouTube channel, the only rule over there is don't be a dick. Stepdad and mom are the only ones that did not go out looking for him. And like I said, their behaviors, Sheena, I agree with you 100%. Their behaviors are what's making me feel like they could be guilty, right? But I'm in true crime, so we need a little more than could be. We got an angle, right? We're focusing on them. We're focusing very heavily on them because of their behavior, right? Their behavior's off. We know their behavior's off. They were the last ones to see Sebastian. Obviously, these are major issues. We kind of get how this stuff works, right? So we are heavily looking at them because of this behavior. But so far, we have no Sebastian. We have no forensic testing that has been done. So if we have no Sebastian and we have no forensic testing that can be done, we have no evidence pointing one direction or another. And it's not because we don't feel like there is. It's because obviously law enforcement hasn't gotten probable cause to get a search warrant to actually go in and search their home properly. Because they're not going to do forensics until they have a search warrant. And here's why. They want to make sure that their forensic testing isn't thrown out in court. So they're going to dot their I's. When they're doing forensic, they're not getting permission from the homeowners to do that. Oh, you get what I'm saying? They want to make sure when they go in there with forensics, it's done by search warrant. I've never heard forensics go into a house under them just willy-nilly like the owner saying, yeah, come on in. They always, from my understanding, just as it's a cover your ass thing, to be honest with you. What about the one picture of Sebastian, that bruise on his neck looked like fingers? Oh, I didn't see that, Lenny. Which one? Send it to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I probably have seen it, but I just didn't notice the markings. I agree. Like I said, I'm a mom. I'd be looking for you'd be Seth. Becky, that's what you'd be. You'd be a Seth. You'd be out there day and night looking for your child, willing to work with anybody to get some answers, just to get boots on the ground. I feel so bad for Seth. I feel so bad for Seth and all of this drama that has been created. I really do. I really do. But people are like me, though. We have integrity. We can't work with an organization that has this horrible of a history. You're not going to get the, maybe some people will give them the support, for the benefit of Seth. I feel bad for Seth. But you know what? We do this long, before his case, and we're going to be doing it after his case, and our reputation matters. And honestly, I'm not working with the United Cajun Navy with their reputation. I can't. We can go out there and work. They seem disorganized anyway, so I'm not going to get... I've been at many of these searches, and I have a way of doing the searches because it's the way I was taught to do them. So I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing regardless, and Seth doesn't have to worry. I'm not coming there to cause any type of drama or anything. I'm coming out there to put my boots on the ground and help aid in the search for his son, and I'm happy to provide him all the information to share. I'm not going to, I'll put it all up here because I use apps that monitor my tracking, my areas, because I take that and I send that over to law enforcement so they know exactly where I was. And that's a benefit to them as well as me. If anything, for God forbid, if somebody says that I was, on their property when I was not, they can clearly see where my path of travel is. So, because it records me the entire time. It's like this little spaghetti noodle that just weaves in and out because I'm up and down, 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 right? But at least it gives them an idea of where I'm at. And of course I record everything. And I, a lot of people say they don't like it. I don't really care whether people like it or not. They're not me. I do my own thing. I don't ask anybody questions or permission. And I record everything for my protection as well, right? It's not just for the protection of others, but it's for my protection as well. I'm a single female. I go to a lot of these places alone or in groups, but either way, it doesn't matter. If I have a disgruntled person, if somebody, there's a lot of these woods, there's a lot of homeless people in them that have mental health issues. I'm not going to be out there without me recording. I record everything. If people have a problem with it, then stay away from me. It's really that simple. But I record for my protection as well as the protection of others out there. And I use that for content for my channel as well. So I think such of this lady, she is, yeah. Well, I'm going to try to get out there as much as possible. I didn't think that someone just drew and threw there and picked his house. No. And, I guess, some of the questions that I've been trying to get this answered, and maybe if you guys are, if the Proudfoots do go on another live interview, maybe I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to just do these pre-recorded type of interviews so they don't have to see the comments or whatnot. But if they do go on, I am still looking for some key information, such as, when Katie was out. Because, we have to look at this at all angles. And we also have to look at this as if Katie and Chris had nothing to do with it. So with this theory, did Katie notice or observe, any time leading up to his disappearance, maybe in the weeks leading up to his disappearance, anybody paying special attention to Sebastian? Did she notice seeing somebody that she just happened to notice at several different places? Like maybe somebody she didn't know, but she just happened to notice that, oh, I just saw him at the gas station this morning. Something like that. Did she notice anybody particularly looking at their table when they were out to dinner that night, or anybody paying special attention to them when they were at the bowling alley that night? Would she have been cognizant on checking to see if anybody's following her home? I don't know if she would, because I don't even think I look behind me to see if anybody's following me home, So I don't know if she would, but nobody's asked those questions. And so if there is a live interview, I am interested in obtaining the answers to those questions. And that's just related to, maybe some unwanted attention, maybe some attention that she thinks is normal and just, but there's just somebody that is overly affectionate with Sebastian. She mentioned that staff had access to the home. What staff? That's interesting. Are you saying staff from Brinks had access to their home? And does anybody, listen, okay, guys, I'm sorry. Does anybody find it very, very odd or bizarre that Katie Proudfoot works for Brinks but has no security system in her own house? I don't, like, when I work for a company, I'm kind of all in with that company. So if I worked for Brinks, I would think that I would have the top of the line Brinks system in my house, because anybody and everybody that comes into my house, I'd want them to look at this beautiful, awesome, massive, great security system. I don't know how I feel about that she worked for Brinks and didn't even have a security system in her own home. Does anybody find that odd? I might be overanalyzing. We do that here on social media, right? We look at stuff that. I have a question. It's Melinda. Go ahead with your question. I'll try to find it whenever you ask it. Maybe she did and she took them down before the cops were there, Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's Melinda. Go ahead and ask your question. I'll try to watch for it. Or at least surveillance. Yeah, well, but see, some people have gone by the house, and I've seen photos, like they're out at the road because it's public property, and they're zooming in, and it appears that there is a camera on the corner of their house. And some people saying that Katie has said that it happened to be turned off that night. But the way Chris implied it on the Nancy Grace show is that they don't have one that works at all. They have a security system sign in their front porch. I know. I would find it odd if she had one and removed it. Oh. Yeah, because a lot of these security systems nowadays are portable. They don't, like back in the day, many don't know, but I have a electrical background. It's because my father, he owned an electrical company for many, many, many years. My whole upbringing, I was riding on his truck when I was 2. And he got into the security systems when I was younger. And I remember when he got into it, one of the first things he did was put, our security system in the house, and how it was all wired. But it had a huge control panel. You could listen into rooms. Like it was an elite system. It was, but it all had to be screwed in and wired in the house. Well, this day and age, we have a lot of wireless stuff and wireless features and Bluetooth capabilities and motion sensor. That stuff never happened back when I was growing up, right? You had a big, huge, like even the boxes were like 3 times the screens. Oh, I see, Sue. I see you're sending me, I can't look at it right. Actually, I probably can. Where's my other phone? Because you sent it to my email. I can look at it on this phone. Hold on a second, guys. There it is. Sue sent me the photo of the bruising, the neck bruising. Let me just take a look and see at it real quick. So I don't know, and I feel really bad for Seth, and I feel really and I know I'm being a little stubborn about it, but everything that's going on and how they were treating people. Oh, wow. Yes, I did see this photo, but never. It sure does. And it sure looks like 2 nail prints. Like somebody went like that. Guys, no joke. Look at that on his neck. No joke. No joke. See that? Hold on, let me try to keep this. Hold on, let me hold this one down. Look at this. Oh, no, it's not going to work. Hold on. There, I think I got it this time. Look at this. See this right here? Like a thumbprint, and these right here look like 2 nail prints. You guys see that? Holy smokes. Yeah, I seen that photo, but I didn't even pay attention to the neck region. Bad for me, right? Because son's disabled, may have, gotcha. I noticed cameras in the pictures too, yeah. I know my son was abducted at 4. I was a hot mess, which is an understatement. Hopefully he came back. Oh, wow, definitely finger marks. Yeah, I didn't notice that before, but I mean, it's clear as day. It looks like this, but it looks like nails dug in. Like there's two things. Oops, sorry. Hold on a second. There we go. There we go. So it looked like, but that was really it. So I don't know. News also, hold on, what does it say? It says the news also said that a neighbor became friends with Sebastian in the neighborhood, had a key. Now that's concern, cyberpunk. That's something I'm interested in right there. Now that could clear the parents and explain some stuff, because a neighbor, this is the thing with me, is when it comes to the autistic kids, they're not going to leave with a stranger. It's uncomfortable. But if they're with somebody that they know, it's a little different. I still don't know if he'd have left the house without putting something on his feet, though. I really don't. And I heard that, and this is another thing I heard, cyberpunk. I heard that it's not a keyed door. I heard it's a coded door. I don't know. That's what I heard. I haven't had a chance to ask the parents anything. I know they said they're willing to answer any questions, any tough questions. And there was a couple times that I was going to send Chris Proudfoot an email with a question. And I'm like, I don't know if I really want to ask him. It sounds stupid, but my question, because I don't want to be accusatory, and I can't get off of my my frustration about the case. And so every time I went to draft something for him, I didn't like how it turned out. And I finally just screw it type thing. Did mom pass her polygraph test? And she said she did. She 22. That's the bad thing about these polygraph tests. Anybody can pretty much say whatever they want. Law enforcement hasn't said anything one way or another, to the best of my knowledge. I know there was a press conference. You know what? I never even watched that press conference that happened. I think they just had a press conference like a few days ago or something like that. But I don't think, if I remember correctly, I don't think the chief or the sheriff, I can't remember who did the press conference, said one way or another whether they passed or not. And I don't think they cleared anybody either. And when I went and read the TBI, statement yesterday, it seems like that the family from TBI called TBI to try to get TBI to explain to the public that the family doesn't want to answer any questions, and TBI goes on there and basically says the family reached out to us to tell us that they don't want any questions, and it's like, you realize that made you look bad. Like, they're not even playing. Like, so it's just, I don't know. It was on Nancy Grace. She said it. Yeah, I know she said that she passed her polygraph, but that wasn't your question. The question was, has it been confirmed? And I think that was really the majority of the question. We all know that she said, and Chris Proudfoot even said that he took a polygraph test. I've got a screenshot of it. I was in the Facebook chat. I saw it with my own eyes before he ever went on Nancy Grace. And then he goes on Nancy Grace and says he did not take a polygraph test. My mouth fell open because he's been telling everybody in this Facebook chat that he had. And I saw it with my own eyes. So why is he telling everybody in this Facebook chat that he took this polygraph test that both him and his wife passed, and then he goes on Nancy Grace and we find out he never took a polygraph test? And when she questioned him about it, he said he offered to take a polygraph test. However, law enforcement told him that since he was as far away as he was, they know he had nothing to do with it and didn't need a polygraph test from him. Well, if that's the case, why didn't you tell us that a month ago when we were all asking you whether you took a polygraph test? But instead, he said, yes, he took a polygraph test and he passed it. That sounds fishy. Yes. I agree with you, Becky. I agree. That's my feelings too. I won't lie. I don't lie about my feelings. I feel like their behavior is rising guilty flags to me too. It's just that there's no evidence of it, that key ingredient we need. So we need evidence. But I will tell everybody, if you guys have an opportunity to go out there and search for Sebastian, I really hope you volunteer for this little boy. I don't want anything being discouraged from putting boots on the ground and really giving Sebastian your 100%, because at the end of the day, he needs all of us. And it's just something and I would venture to say everybody go over to the tent to sign up and get an area to go to. I'm going to be doing my thing when I get there. I have my own areas. This is what I do. I'm not, I'd rather be away from the group. If you guys would like to group up with me when I get into town, you're more than welcome to. I just think at this point, there just needs to be some distance. I don't know where they're searching. They're obviously not willing to tell people where they're searching. So, that's on them. Once I get out there, I'll be producing all of my maps for everybody so they can see exactly where I was, so people aren't duplicating efforts. We don't want to waste any time. We don't want to be duplicating efforts when we have boots on the ground there. So we may have to start from scratch depending on whether they're going to let us know where they're searching or not. But either way, the way I feel about it, no place can ever be searched enough, right? So if we hit one area a couple times, so what? At least it'll be thoroughly searched. She was holding the picture in one of the interviews and appeared like it was a sign. Wow. They should check credit cards. Check the home and vehicles again. Something's missing. And, I kept wondering, too, if we were to take the theory that mom and stepdad have nothing to do with this and somebody else did, how do we know that they're not, in this haste? Are they forgetting a pair of, maybe, did he have house slippers? Did he have, are there socks missing? Because from my understanding, he just needed something on his feet. Not necessarily that they had to be shoes, but it was customary that he always put shoes on before he left the house. I don't know. The job, the stepdad's job is a little concerning for me. And, I wonder if there's cameras there, if they can tell when he showed up, when he didn't. No, he won't tell anybody where he was. He just says Memphis. He won't tell anybody where he was the day that Sebastian disappeared or the night before leading into the morning that Sebastian disappeared. He won't tell us what time he went to work, what time he clocked in. He won't tell us, like, we have all this information on Katie Proudfoot. Her morning, we know where she was, what she said, where she says she was. She hasn't held back any on the location that she was at, or what she did, or the timeline, or what she did the night before. Now, she includes a couple additional people here and there, but for the most part, she has no problem talking to us about the timeline, and we have not yet received anything from her saying, law enforcement told me not to talk to you about this. But every time we ask Chris anything about his whereabouts, where he's been, what he was doing, if he had nothing to do with this and many miles away, why are those questions so hard for him to answer? Because he's having a hard time answering those questions. People that aren't guilty have no problem. So far, the only person having a problem answering questions to their whereabouts is Christopher Proudfoot. We know where Seth was. We know where Katie was. Where was Chris? Where is Chris? Saw storm drains in the front of the house. I don't know. I didn't see them popping any manhole covers. But I actually believe if it was Chris, he wouldn't do anything around there. He's smarter than that. Trust me. This man is egomaniac, from what I hear. Vague answers, no answers is a bad sign. Exactly. When everybody else can answer. Like even Nancy Grace is like, why can't you answer that? That's so stupid. Oh, we didn't call and ask. Well, the frickin' van's sitting in the front yard. I'm pretty sure it's across social media, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows the make and model. I'm asking you the make and model of the other vehicle. You can't tell me the make and model of the other vehicle? That other vehicle is a work truck, too. Did that move? Did that work truck move at all that night? Everything this day and age has a tracking device on it. I want to know where they are. Was her sister questioned? Good question. I don't know. People are saying that they have no proof that he even made it back to the home from the bowling alley. The work van, I think, should look... Yeah, usually work vans have GPSs, and especially company vans. Hell, some of these companies have, like, they regulate your speed and everything. Like, if you're 1 mile over the speed limit, they know. They'll call you. I've seen it myself. I've seen it. It's like a little gauge-looking thing in the car. I'm literally going to school right now. Well, Maya, you have a great day. What's the update on Sebastian? They're still looking for searchers. I'm still waiting for my car to be repaired and returned to me. I'm dying here. I've been wanting to get out there for weeks. I've been stuck home for 3 weeks waiting for my car repairs to be done. But they have search parties going on right now that nobody's really showing up to or participating in, and everybody's kind of doing their own willy-nilly stuff because of all the drama surrounding the United Cajun Navy and their shenanigans. And, I feel really bad for Seth because Seth just wants everybody to come together for the sake of his son. And I don't know if that's going to be possible because the United Cajun Navy ran a lot of the volunteers that literally traveled across the country to go out there to help search for Sebastian. They ran them off. They literally ran people off that came from across the country to help search for this boy. And then they started calling the cops on other people. Nobody wants to deal with something like that. Seth is like, they're taking this, they caused so much drama on Seth, and Seth is still just trying to work with this. It's not working. I'm not going to work with them. I will not support the United Cajun Navy. I saw their work ethic. I saw how they talk to people. I saw it with my own eyes. This is all recorded stuff, guys. This is not somebody talking shit about an organization. This is stuff where people have recorded this stuff. It is without a doubt true. I want nothing to do with the United Cajun Navy, and I'm so very sorry, Seth. If you're watching, I just want to tell you, I want to give you a hug. God bless you for everything you're going through. But and I'm going to be out there helping, and I'm bringing my entire channel and the resources of my channel to assist. But I will not be helping the United Cajun Navy. I will not bring my channel to bring them clout. There is no way in hell. Sorry, I'm sorry. But we will be out there to look for your son. And I think we'll have a more organized and coordinated effort once I get on in town. So we'll see how that all works out. But that's your update on Sebastian. Their search was shut down for 3 days because of this organization. And then when they finally did go out there, they don't start until after 10:30. And apparently yesterday they didn't want to work until after 3. So this professional organization has not even given this boy 8 hours a day. I don't know what to say. Not an organization I want to support. It's all about finding Sebastian, but because of the it's way too much negativity, because they were out there for donations and media attention. That's why. Everybody else was out there trying to look for Sebastian. And they wanted to turn it around that it was these TikTokers recording. Listen, I have been to literally hundreds of searches. I have never in my life heard anybody telling me to turn my recorder off. Ever. Hundreds of searches. Hundreds of searches. Never have ever been kicked out of a search for a missing person or had the cops called on me because I was holding a camera. That's no. They called the police on searchers and told them to leave. Even told Seth to leave. Wow. Wow. All right, guys, that's it. I just wanted to tell you that this show right here, your breaking news updates in the morning, is by our sponsorship. So if you guys would like to subscribe to this channel on a monthly basis, please consider going up there and subscribing to the Bullhorn Betty channel here on TikTok. I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much for spending your time with me. Thank you for, spitballing this case with me. We all have our opinions about it. I think we're all in line with, we feel uncomfortable about the stepfather and the mom. It just doesn't make sense. Their behavior doesn't make sense, but we still don't have the key evidence necessary. So we're going to continue to go and try to get volunteers. I want anybody that has time to go out in Tennessee and look. If you're in this area, get out on your property. Look at your tree line. Go in your woods if you haven't walked in your woods in a while. Check your outbuildings. Check under, if you're on stilts, check under your house. We don't know where this boy could possibly be, but please, please, please still go out there. Still keep checking your property. If you guys are well-bodied, able people and can go out there and search, please go out for Seth. Seth is begging us to get out there and help search. I would be out there searching right now if I was there. I'm not there. As soon as I get there, it's balls to the walls. That means 6 a.m., I'm out there. We don't stop until it's dark outside. So that's what's going to be happening when we roll into town. And I hope that we have identified good target areas, which I think we have. And the people that do want to go out there and collaborate with me, we're going to be discussing the map. I'm going to show you my areas. We'll have a diplomatic discussion on certain areas to search and why we feel that those are primed for searching. So again, I'll keep you guys posted as soon as my mechanic calls. I'm coming live here and on YouTube so I can give you guys an update so we know exactly when I'll be coming into town. We want to ramp up these search efforts as much as possible to look for Sebastian Rogers. We need to get out there. We have to find this boy. We have to find him, people. We have to find him. So it is literally all hands on deck. So if you can pitch in, please go out there. They're signing right now. You can volunteer. It sounds like 10:30 this morning. They will be getting started. I'm not going to bitch about their search efforts. They're running their own thing. I just don't run my stuff the way they're running their stuff. That's all. And it's just differing of policies and procedures. No big deal. But they're the bodies that are out there willing to search right now. So get out there if you have the ability to and aid and help Seth with the searching for his son. And what I'm going to tell you, there's just like this, once you're there, you don't have to stick with the group. You can go, if you think they're searching in an area that shouldn't be searched or doesn't have any value and you want to break away from the group, or a couple of you break away from the group, do it safely. Just whatever you do, be tracking your movements and make sure somebody knows where you're at all times. Okay? If you're going to break away from the group, make sure you cover your ass. We want to make sure everybody's safe out there. Go look up Dolly Vision. Yeah, and Dolly Vision is out there. So If you guys go over to YouTube, you might find out where he's at today. He can get you guys searching. I've searched with him before. He does good. He'll get you where you need to be. He's actually looking for extra people, extra bodies to help him search. So go over to YouTube, Dolly Vision, send him a message. He'll reach out to you. I think it's Jimmy Jams if you guys want to email him to find out where he is today. It's Jimmy, Jimmy, Jams, JAMZ, Z757 @gmail.com. You guys can meet up with him and go searching with him. So we're just trying to get boots on the ground, guys. I know the United Cajun Navy ran a lot of people off, but we need to bring you guys all back. You guys need to all come back. We need searchers on the ground. I've got to, the car can't be much longer. At this point, it's like, it can't be much longer, right? I mean, we've been here almost 3 weeks. I mean, how much longer can it possibly be? I shouldn't say that. God forgive me, because as soon as you ask that, they'll show you just how much longer it can be. I don't know what to do. I'm like ready to hit my head against a hard surface. So we'll just keep our fingers crossed and keep working. Hi, guys. I'm going to let you go just to let you know. Riley Strain, no water in his lungs. Sebastian Rogers, still looking for volunteers. And I'm still trying to get to that area. As soon as I get my car back, I'm going straight there. I'm driving straight to Tennessee. I'm not going to be stopping to stay the night anywhere. I'm going to get to Tennessee as quickly as possible. So we'll see you guys soon. Take care. God bless. And if you can pitch in, please do.